Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 8:54 Thursday morning here on KSJE. We have an extra segment for you this morning because there's an exciting event coming up, which is being put on by the Aztec Museum in Pioneer Village that we wanted to share with you. And so joining me here in the studio to talk all things about Aztec Museum and Pioneer Village, Joan Monninger is here, the executive director of the organization. Good morning. Welcome back to KSJE.
Good morning, Scott. Happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. And you brought with you another special guest that I'm thrilled to have here in the studio as well. Patty Tharp is here, noted historian, author, and just all-around lady who knows a lot of things. Patty, welcome to you.
Thank you.
Good to have you here as well to talk about this really unique event that's coming up, Joan, that I thought was really interesting because that's why I signed up to go. But this is coming up, gosh, in just a week or so in Flora Vista, and it's a real unique kind of surrounding, immersive local history event.
Yeah.
And I'll stop talking.
May 31st, Saturday. Typically, as you know, people come to the museum to step back in time, see historic buildings. This is a very special event where we're going out to where the building is, which is Tully House.
Right.
It is May 31st. It is a fundraiser. So it is we're calling it If These Walls Could Talk, a picnic at Tully House in Flora Vista.
Right.
And because the walls, if these walls could talk, the walls can't talk.
Right.
They can only creak and moan like my knees this morning. So,
but these walls have been around for a long time too, as we look at the photo.
Yeah, the voice of those walls is going to be Patty Tharp, who has researched and will be telling the story of the house and the families.
Interesting. And so, Patty, give us a little bit of a sample. I don't want to give it away because we want folks to come to the event, but we're seeing the house right now, and it's one of those, looks to me like a pioneer house. It was built with just what was around and not a lot of other things back in those days. How old is this structure, I guess?
Well, I went to the source.
Okay.
I ordered Fred Tully's homestead file from the National Archives. And in the file, he gives his testimony when he proved up for the homestead. And he says, I first settled on this land on September the 17th, 1877. Now, mind you, San Juan Basin had just opened up the year before in 1876 for settlement. So it just blows my mind how this young man who was 27 from Chicago heard about it. First of all, even heard that there was land available.
Right.
And then to make the decision to come, because it was wild. There was no Flora Vista. There was no Aztec. The nearest place for supplies and to get your mail was Animas City, because Durango didn't even exist until 1881 when the train came in.
Right.
So.
And that was how many days voyage or travel from Flora Vista to get up to Animas City? At least a couple, I would think.
Yes.
By horse. So, yeah, and there was nothing. There's no, none of the towns that we would recognize today were established at that time. He was here, and it was pretty much open land.
And because it had just opened up, it hadn't been surveyed yet. And so you couldn't get an official application at the General Land Office in Santa Fe until it had been surveyed.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually did not happen until the early 1880s. So anybody who came before that date were called squatters. And they had squatter rights.
Right.
They applied for the right to be a squatter until the survey was completed.
Okay.
And of course, he chose beautiful river bottom fertile land right by the Animas. You can't see the Animas River in the picture, but it's a stone's throw away.
from where this house was built.
That's right. And so in the homestead record, it says that he built a 3-room log cabin. So the bottom part was the log cabin.
You can certainly see that even today.
And then there is a hakal, or a upright cedar addition, that is on the other side. And so we always thought that was first, but it wasn't.
Interesting.
What was first was this log cabin, then the hakal, and then the upper stories were added.
Gotcha.
But now our big question is, are those pinon logs from nearby? Because if there was no Durango, I mean, I just am wondering. We've all seen pinon trees that do have a nice big log and are tall.
Right.
So somebody who is knowledgeable, I hope that day on the 31st might know, are these pinon logs?
Right.
We do know that the beautiful, massive, magnificent cottonwoods is a completely different breed than what you find today.
Interesting.
So these are probably the same era as the house. So 1877, 147 years old.
Right. Interesting.
And we're going to be sitting out there, limited number of people.
Right.
Because it is fundraiser, and because it is on private property. And, and honestly, it's falling apart.
Right.
But we'll be sitting out there under those trees, so we'll have some shade.
Nice.
And you just get that wonderful sense. And we can't go in the house, but people will be able to walk around. You can look in through the doors and windows.
Gotcha.
The house itself is not safe to be in.
Gotcha.
But it's just going to be really neat.
It's probably one of the oldest surviving structures in San Juan County, and this just makes it so remarkable. And what a privilege that we have, that the owners have given us to actually be there.
Right, that's the idea. It's private property, as Joan was saying, and so they've allowed you to bring on these 50 or so folks to come and experience it for this one-time event and fundraiser.
Patty arranged it. So
thank you, Patty, for doing that. Now we're showing photos right now. This is the house from like around 1960.
1960s. This is a photo. This was Henry Jackson, who had a photography studio in Aztec, and so in the 60s he went out and shot pictures.
So that's about 60 years ago with my rough math this morning, and so we can see that. But then the more current photos, it certainly has deteriorated in that time as well, and so I think it's really great to be able to see it before you can't see it any
and I
longer.
think Patty, before I came to this area, a group from the museum, along with Patty, so Jimmy Miller, Dr. Jimmy Miller, the Scotts, or Jack Scott, they went out because they were talking about trying to move this building onto the museum.
We could have had the permission of the owners to do that.
Right.
Different owners at the time.
Sure.
No, the same owners.
Same owners, to add it to the Pioneer Village.
But there is just no way to move it. There's no foundation, and it would just be prohibitively expensive if you could even find an operation to do it.
Right.
Because
I guess short of just dismantling it and rebuilding it, which would also be expensive and time-consuming. But
exactly, because it's in 3 parts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so much like Patty caught in Lost Communities books, those stories in that past, she's doing the same with this house while we can do it.
Yeah, which is wonderful. And to see some of the things that you can still see, obviously, as it is kind of falling apart.
Now, this is what's really interesting, is that green mantle.
Yes.
And the woodwork is green. So Fred persuaded his parents and younger siblings to join him. And they came about 1879. And Anne Helena Tully, his mother, brought 3 firsts into San Juan County. Of course, it was Rio Reba at the time.
Right.
She brought the first piano, the first sewing machine, and we think probably the first green carpet, which would have decorated this room.
Okay.
That was painted green.
Okay.
So we just find that absolutely a marvel. And probably her piano was over in the north window, I think. Somebody thought it for the light.
Maybe, right.
For her to read her
be
music.
able to play it, yeah.
And then she played at the church in Flora Vista.
Okay.
And taught many people how to play the piano.
Fascinating.
And that's her.
There she is, right there.
And she was known as Grandma by her grandchildren, and they spelt that Granmmaw. Grandma.
Okay.
And she did the research.
Right.
She was born in Toronto, Canada in 1826.
Okay.
Married in 1849. No, 46, sorry, 1846.
But found her way here with her
husband
relatives
that she married. Right. Via Chicago.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, the event is coming up on the 31st of May. Again, here's the details: 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It includes lunch. Registration limited to about 45 people.
Yeah. Yes.
And so, that's why you need to kind of get signed up
Yeah,
earlier
and we're
sooner than
getting closer
later.
to being, sold out on that. So if people want to come, they need to let us know.
Wonderful. That's terrific. And again, $25 if you're already a member of the museum, $35 if you are not. But this is also a fundraiser for the Aztec Museum. So we hope folks will do that, and they can call the phone number on the screen, 334-9829.
Correct.
And give you a call if they want to register online, or at least have you save a spot.
Yeah, yes, we can do that very easily. We're happy to.
Very, very good. Well, we are just about out of time, both of you, but it's always a pleasure to have you here. Patty Tharp, I can't tell you how great it is to see you. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And just to hear a little bit of the knowledge that you have. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, there's a lot more to come.
Looking forward to it. Joan, thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.
Yes, I will see you next Saturday.
Okay, very
Thank
good.
you so much.
You're welcome. My guest this morning here to talk about the events at the Aztec Museum in Pioneer Village and the events that are off-site here with me on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.